Dear students, today we are going to study about industrialization in colonies. How did the Britishers capture our market and what was the condition of the weavers? Industrialization in the colonies. Now we are moving towards India to see how a colony industrializes. We will be seeing in this, primarily we will be focusing on the small scale industry. Let us come to the age of Indian textile. Before the machine industry, silk and cotton goods from India dominated the international market in textiles. Coarser cotton was produced in many countries, but the finer varieties often came from India. American and Persian merchants took the goods from Punjab to Afghanistan, Eastern Persia and Central Asia. Similarly, Surat on the Gujarat coast connected India to the Gulf and Red Sea ports. Machilipatnam on the Coromandel coast and Hooghly in the Bengal had trade links with Southeast Asian ports. A variety of Indian merchants and bankers were involved in this network of export trade, financing, production, carrying goods and supplying exporters. They gave advances to weavers, procured woven cloth from weaving villages and carried the supply to the port. Now, in the meantime, the power was gained by the European company. They took the power from the Indian traders. What was the reason behind it? First thing is that by securing a variety of concession from the local court, that is, they got the monopoly right to trade. When they have a monopoly, obviously it resulted in decline in the importance of old ports of Surat and Hooghly. Exports from these ports fell dramatically and credit that was financed by the earlier trade began drying up. And because of these old ports started losing its importance. And whereas we can also see that by the end of the 17th century, gross value of trade from Surat declined from 16 million to 3 million. New port came up in place of old port. This shift of port indicated the growth of colonial power. While Surat and Hooghly port decayed and Bombay and Calcutta port grew. Trade was now carried out and controlled by the European companies and was carried in European ships. With many of the old trading houses collapsed, those that want to survive had now to operate within the network shaped by European trading companies. Now, how does this change affect the lives of weavers and other artisans? Let us see what happened to weavers. Once the company established political power, it started to eliminate the competition and tried to assert a monopoly right of trade. It developed a system of management and control that would eliminate competition, control costs and ensure regular supply of cotton and silk goods. How was this done? This was done in two steps. First step was elimination of existing traders and brokers. The company tried to eliminate the existing traders and brokers connected with the cloth trade and established a more direct control over the weavers. And moreover, second step was preventing of company weavers from dealing with buyers. Company prevented its workers from dealing with buyers. A system of advances was followed. Once the order was placed, the weavers were given loans to purchase the raw material for their production. Gumastas. Who were Gumastas? This is a very important aspect of the lesson. You often get questions from this topic. Gumastas were the paid servants who were appointed by the East India Company for supervision of weavers, collecting supplies and examining the quality of cloth. The East India Company appointed Gumastas because there were a great demand of Indian textile in Europe during 1760s. There was a stiff competition from French, Dutch, Portuguese and local traders for expansion of export. The weavers and supply merchant could bargain and try selling the product to the best buyers. Hence, Gumastas were appointed who would supervise the weavers, collect supplies and examine the quality of cloth. Now, what was the problem faced by Indian weavers? As cotton industry developed in England, the export market collapsed and the local market was flooded with British goods. Indian handmade goods could not compete with machine-made goods of England. They could not get sufficient supply of raw cotton which was sent to England to their industries. The prices of raw cotton shot up and it was difficult for the weavers to purchase the cotton at an exorbitant price. Indian weavers got a setback when the market began to be flooded with the Indian manufactured goods from the Indian textile. So this was again a big blow to the weavers. Now it became very difficult for weavers to survive under this atmosphere. Now again, because of this, there was a clashes between Gomastas and weavers. What was the reason behind it? Gomastas were outsiders who have no longer term social link with the weavers. Gomastas were appointed by the company to supply merchants who often belonged to same villages and had a close relationship with the weavers. Hence we can say supply merchants, they had a close relationship and Gomastas were the outsiders. They were arrogant and they used to march with sepoys and peons into the villages and used to punish weavers for delay. In many places, that is Karnataka and Bengal, weavers deserted the villages, migrated and revolted along with village traders. The weavers lost the space to bargain for prices and sell to different buyers. The prices they received from the company was very low and they were tied to the company because of the loan given by the company. Over time, many weavers began refusing loans, closing down their workshops and taking to agricultural labor. This is all for today, students. Tomorrow we are going to start a new topic, that is Manchester comes to India.